It ain't a real fair till someone loses a flip-flop on the Gravitron.
Hey, thanks for joining me. This is Brandon at Artismia, and in this video, I want to give a behind-the-scenes look at how I create one of my animated characters, from the first sketch all the way through to the final animation. It all starts with inspiration. For this piece, I found a photo reference from Earth's World on Instagram. I love his portrait photography. He photographs at county fairs and amusement parks all over the world, and his work is a constant source of inspiration and ideas for any of my portraits and caricatures. I always begin sketching in Procreate on the iPad Pro. I'll rough out multiple variations using brushes like the peppermint pencil or the Derwent pencil, exaggerating features that will give the character personality. Once I'm happy with a sketch, I drop its opacity, create a new layer, and go over it with a clean ink brush to lock in the line work. From there, I move into color. Now for this one, I chose to use the Syrup ink brush, and then a variety of other brushes to create textures and blending. Now with the head drawn, I need to create additional views. It's real simple to flip the left-facing pose to create a right-facing pose, but I also need a front-facing view, so I redraw that one. Sometimes I'll use the Procreate's Warp Transform tool to experiment with subtle head turns. This will give me a good idea what the warp layer will look like in Moho Animation. Next comes the full body design. I'll import the head into a new project, sketch out the clothing and body, and then separate everything into layers, creating arms, legs, hands, and even shoes, so they can later be rigged for animation. Once I'm satisfied, I export it as a Photoshop format, that way I can keep all the layers intact. From there, I bring the project into Clip Studio Paint for extra detail and cleanup work. I like to prepare multiple gestures so that he can point, wave, and do different peace signs or hand gestures. That way the character can interact more naturally in the animation. I also make sure facial elements like eyelids, pupils, eyebrows, and mustaches are on their own layers. This gives me more flexibility to animate subtle expressions. Once everything's prepared, I move into Moho for rigging and animation. This is where I add bones, smart bones, and switch layers for things like head turns, lip syncing, and mouth shapes. The jaw, mustache, and lips are all separate so I can animate speech convincingly, matching phonemes like A, E, I, O, and U. Here I use a smart bone and the warp mesh layer to create a face turn. It's also pretty great to use Moho's Vitruvian Smart Bones, which allows you to have pre-positioned arm positions or hand gestures that can be easily switched with just a flick of a switch. In addition to the functional jaw and upper lip smart actions, I also hand drew each phoneme mouth shape to be used in a switch layer for more accurate lip syncing. Even though these are all raster drawings, Moho's Smart Bone system and warp tools let me simulate 3D head turns and nuanced motion. I also build out the environment directly in Moho using vector layers. For example, I created a popcorn stand with a particle generator to make the popcorn pop. Carnival balloons with their own bones to sway in the wind, and tents with flapping fabric. Even small props like a flying flip-flop are drawn in vectors so that they can spin or flip smoothly in animation. By keeping the ground, sky, and trees on separate layers, I can use Moho's 3D camera to create a parallax effect and add depth to the scene. All of these assets together form a library that I can use for future shorts, whether that's swapping popcorn for soda cans or adding new fairground games. The goal is to build a flexible setup so I can produce multiple animations effectively without starting from scratch each time. And that's the workflow for this project, from inspiration to sketching, inking, coloring, building multiple views, rigging, and finally animating. Thanks for watching this behind the scenes look at my process. If you have any questions about the steps or anything, drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to help. This is Brandon at Artismia. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.
It ain't a real fair till someone loses a flip-flop on the gravitron.